We heard this week that, as ever, and Netflix have gone their separate ways. Samara, who did the dumping?
I mean, Netflix did the dumping. That much is obvious. I mean, this is the line she's going for, you know. She wants to protect herself, protect her brand, go her own way. No, not true. And I think this is the beginning of the end for As Ever as a brand. We know how much she relied on Netflix to prop up her endeavors and her jam pursuits. I just don't think it's going to go anywhere after this without their funding and without their support. They're a massive conglomerate, a massive company. Obviously, Ted Sarandos, the CEO, had some, nice pleasantries to say at the end of this breakup, but we know what the executives have said about Meghan behind her back. They don't like her. No one enjoys really working with her from what I can see. And I think that this is sort of the final nail in the coffin for that relationship that they have.
Well, it feels like we've kind of heard this before. Meghan has been working with someone for a major, global institution for a while, and after a bit of time, she gets frustrated and decides that she wants to walk away. I'm talking about the royal family. She walked away from being in the royal family after time. There are similarities here.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's sort of fascinating about this whole story is the way that everybody pre-announces in their circle, seems to pre-announce everything in a tremendous hurry to say that everything's a big success and everything's perfect. It seems so obvious watching from the outside, or from anyone looking at the outside, that parting company with Netflix is not a great thing for your brand.
It's like a 362 billion worldwide company. Yeah.
Right. So it therefore stands to reason that it would be better to be partnered with them than not be partnered with them. And I think what's so exhausting about the whole narrative that sometimes comes out of their side is that everything is pitched as a win. So this is all pitched as, we're taking back control, Netflix were rubbish, they were holding us back, blah, 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 blah. And then actually, very interestingly, yesterday, we started to see the first signs of Netflix fighting back and saying, people just weren't interested in the brand, and we lost interest in being partnered with a brand that people weren't interested in. And I mean, look, the bottom line is that fundamentally it's a really good idea, right? To have a TV show with all these brands, then you sell the brands through the thing, and it becomes this virtuous circle. But the reality is the TV show didn't work. So I think after the TV show didn't work, why would Netflix particularly be interested in continuing that partnership? They are ultimately a streaming company.
So the writing was on the wall once everyone stopped watching With Love, Meghan. I mean, Netflix don't normally sell things like flour sprinkles and jam, so it was kind of, without the show, what's the point of that?
Well, I mean, they were meant to have this rollout in some of the shopping centres where they had stores, like bricks and mortar stores, where they were going to sell As Ever. I don't believe that ever happened, which could also signal just how they didn't really want to be associated with the As Ever brand. And you're right, as Tom said, it didn't even make the top 10, let alone really barely the top 100, that Christmas special. So I think that really did signify just how badly that series was doing, and how another season, another massive investment with hundreds of staff, lots of resources, just wasn't going to pay off for Netflix. And, we're talking about a company that is willing to throw many different bits at the wall just to see if they stick. This is an open company who, hasn't made a profit in many years. They don't really care about that. They're happy to invest in people. But Harry and Meghan just never delivered for them. That's the truth, apart from that one documentary about the royal family.
What do you think, Tom? Samara just pointed out there that they had the one big success with the 6-part documentary. That's probably why they bought them. Let's be honest. That's probably why they got them in. The With Love Meghan hasn't worked out. As Ever hasn't worked out. We're told about a first look deal. Not much has not. We're told things are in the pipeline, but nothing really. Meet me at the lake. We're still waiting for that. Is post-royal life, looking far more difficult now for Harry and Meghan?
So in the normal Hollywood structures, it could often take 5 or 10 years for a film from the beginning to the end to come out. Netflix doesn't do it that way. They do stuff really fast. They commission it, it's made, it comes out. So the fact that both Meet Me at the Lake and The Wedding Date have been stuck in production hell, Meet Me at the Lake for 3 years now, that's basically, that film isn't happening. Like, Netflix would not wait 3, 4, 5 years between making a film and it coming out. And the reality is that it's really, really hard to make a hit TV series. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to be a television producer.
Yeah.
It's a great point. We've even seen this with the Obamas as well, even though, they're, sorry, but they're much more talented than Harry and Meghan. But even they tried to be TV movie producers and weren't quite able to get that off the ground. I think all these Hollywood stars see others do it and produce really valuable shows and content and say, oh, that's easy. And the sort of reality is that Meghan was just an actress and Harry was just sort of a spare royal, and it's very difficult to create successful projects. And I think that dawn is sort of it's on them now.
And I think the other thing, Matt, is that there are persistent rumours that Meghan has always looked for a bigger role in these projects, and specifically at the wedding date that she was trying to get involved in some kind of directorial role. Well, I mean, frankly, why are you going to risk that? Why are you going to take that kind of risk? So, and I think that I do understand their argument, right? Which is their argument, Harry and Meghan's argument is, look, we want to sell loads of product, and we, working with a big company has made it really difficult. Every time we want to send an email or do a this or a that, we have to get approval from them, and we're not nimble enough, and blah, 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 blah. And I think that ultimately, my personal view in these kinds of things is, okay, fine, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt, and let's see, right? Time will tell. If in the summer you're shipping loads and loads of products all over the world, I will take my hat and I will eat it,
Well, they said that, I think the exact quote was that...
With some lovely jammy sauce.
With some flour sprinkles on top of that.
Loose fruit spread.
It's global domination.
$1.8 million worth of flour sprinkles in stock. I mean, that is a heavy investment in flour sprinkles. But that is a lot of your net worth tied up in dried, inedible bits of dried flour.
Their argument is, and we probably don't know whether this is true or not, really, is that they were struggling to get the products out, and they were struggling to get enough products, and that Netflix, this huge company, was holding them back. I think the quote was, been held back by a more cautious Netflix team. So you're right, in 6 months' time or a year, if suddenly there's stores and they're on sale in Australia and New Zealand and Canada and in the UK, it might be different. But do we believe that? I mean, Meghan says it's a good time to have complete control, has been held back by the more cautious Netflix team, whereas Netflix say, it was always intended Meghan will continue growing the brand and take it into its next chapter independently. So they claim that she was always going to leave after a year.
Well, I think that, and to be honest, all the rest of the various bits of the statement, you could just about go, okay, well, it seems a bit odd, but maybe. But the idea that somebody would make a plan to partner with somebody for a year, invest loads of time and money and loads of staff into it, and the whole plan was always going to be that at the end of the year you'd part company and never have anything to do with each other again. It's just so clearly nonsense that it's that particular bit. I think all the rest of it, you could say, well, it's very unlikely, but I suppose in some kind of mad world they might think that they're better off doing it on their own without the backing of a giant international behemoth. But the idea that Netflix planned to separate, don't you think, is kind of just ridiculous?
Yes, Meghan, this multi-billion-dollar conglomerate is holding you back from all your success and from you becoming a multi-billionaire. You're right. It's a weird line to take and to pursue, but I just don't believe it, and I think that she thinks that we'll fall for this. I think we don't have such short memory. I can remember her making that video in her orchard saying, Netflix has rescued us, because it was obviously meant to be American Montecito Orchard or whatever that original brand name was. And she goes, but Netflix are going to partner with us and it's going to be a big deal and it's going to be massive. And so that was only about 2 years ago. So I think I remember that Netflix saved you, Meghan, and now you're claiming they're holding you back. Doesn't make any sense.